Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're getting into something that, well, it can feel like a lot of jargon sometimes, can't it?
Mhm.
But it's actually really vital for understanding how businesses are, trying to move forward. We're talking about digital transformation versus IT transformation.
Right. You hear these terms thrown around all the time.
Exactly. Maybe
Uh-huh.
even used interchangeably. And look, you wouldn't be alone if you did that. But the source we're digging into today really makes it clear there's a difference. A critical one, actually.
Yeah, absolutely. We're looking at an article from Techshift by Jay Tillotson. It's called Digital versus IT Transformation. What's the difference?
Hmm.
And our goal, really, is to unpack the main ideas from that piece. We want to get a handle on why splitting these two concepts actually matters for leaders, for strategy, and hopefully bring some clarity to what can feel a bit fuzzy.
Totally. So, by the end of this deep dive, you should feel, hopefully, a bit more equipped to cut through those buzzwords, to understand what kind of transformation is really being talked about or, maybe what needs to happen where you are.
It's pretty key for seeing this strategic picture clearly.
Definitely. Okay, so let's get into it. How does the article start framing these two ideas? What's the initial breakdown?
Well, the way Tillotson explains it, IT transformation is fundamentally about modernizing the internal engine of the organization.
The engine room, sort of.
Exactly. Think infrastructure, the systems, the networks,
Yeah.
the underlying tech backbone, right? And also the internal processes that rely on all that tech.
Okay.
The main goal there is usually efficiency, maybe cost reduction, making things more scalable, definitely more secure, just robust.
Right.
It's basically taking the machinery you already have and making it run better, faster, more reliably.
So things like moving old legacy systems to the cloud.
Yeah, that's a classic example.
Or automating internal workflows, maybe updating hardware, tightening up cybersecurity, that sort of stuff.
Precisely. That's all IT transformation. It's like
Mhm.
essential maintenance, upgrading the plumbing, making sure that operational core is really humming along nicely.
Gotcha. So it's internal focus, making things work better inside.
Exactly. Now, digital transformation, according to the article,
Hmm.
that's described as a much broader thing. It's more like a business-wide revolution.
Okay, broader how?
Well, it's not just about making the engine better. It's about using that upgraded engine to actually steer the business in completely new directions.
Ah.
It definitely uses digital technologies, of course, but the real focus is on reimagining how the organization creates and delivers value,
Mm.
to the outside world.
So customers, the market.
Right. It's about exploring new business models, fundamentally changing the customer experience for the better, maybe unlocking entirely new ways to bring in revenue.
Okay. I think I'm starting to see the split. So IT transformation is like perfecting the internal stuff,
Yeah.
that doing things better with technology.
While digital transformation is more about using that tech to figure out doing better things for the business overall, like its position in the market, its relationship with customers. That distinction, doing things better versus doing better things, yeah, that's actually a really powerful summary the article uses later on. It really captures the core difference.
Right.
Digital transformation could mean, say, launching a totally new digital product,
Yeah.
or using AI to personalize every single customer interaction, or maybe completely redesigning how a customer finds you, buys from you, gets support, the whole journey.
So it's inherently outward facing then.
Yeah.
Strategic, focused on market impact, growth.
Exactly. That's the heart of it, according to Tiltson's piece.
The article apparently points out some key areas where they really differ too, like the main focus.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
For IT transformation, the focus is clearly on modernizing IT operations, the internal tech landscape.
Okay.
For digital transformation, the focus is much wider.
Hmm.
Reinventing the business itself, how it delivers value to customers.
And the scope is different too, right? IT is internal systems, processes.
Right, focused internally. Whereas digital transformation is often organization-wide. It touches customer interactions, it looks for new revenue streams, and critically, it often means people have to work in entirely new ways.
That makes sense. And what are the drivers? What pushes companies to do one versus the other?
Also distinct, according to the article, IT transformation is often driven by, the need for efficiency, reliability, just keeping up with basic tech advancements so things don't break.
Keeping the lights on, essentially.
Pretty much. Digital transformation, though, that's usually driven by bigger forces. market disruption, competitors doing new things, the need for actual top-line revenue growth, or the pressure to deliver those really slick, superior customer experiences people expect now.
And the outcomes you're aiming for are different as well.
Yeah, definitely. IT transformation success looks like a more reliable, maybe more agile, cost-effective IT foundation. Stable systems. Digital transformation success. That looks like new products, new services hitting the market, better customer relationships, maybe even completely new business models that didn't exist before.
And who owns it? That's often a big question.
It is. And the article makes a good point here. While IT leadership is absolutely crucial for IT transformation,
Naturally.
digital transformation,
Yeah.
that needs buy-in and leadership right across the C-suite. The CEO, CIO, sure, but also marketing, operations. It needs that broad, cross-functional ownership because you're changing the whole business, not just the tech department.
Okay, that's a really helpful breakdown of the differences, but what's maybe even more interesting is how they relate. The article touches on that, right? How IT transformation is kind of foundational.
Absolutely fascinating. And yeah, the article really positions IT transformation as building the necessary foundation. It's the essential groundwork that those bigger digital initiatives have to stand on.
Right.
Think about the example the article uses. A manufacturing company replacing an old, clunky on-premise ERP system.
Enterprise resource planning, the core operations software.
Exactly. Replacing that with a modern clouds platform. Now, that improves uptime, scalability, internal efficiency, huge benefits internally. But, as the article notes, those internal improvements, often completely invisible to the person actually buying the product.
Right, yeah. You've made the factory floor run smoother, but the customer might have no idea. So you need that stable, modern internal engine, that IT transformation piece, just to be able to do anything new or innovative later, especially at scale. The scope is internal readiness.
Precisely. Then, digital transformation is described as taking that newly capable engine and using it to actually drive the business differently out in the market.
Okay.
The article gives the example of a retailer who, after they've modernized their core IT systems, then they launch a mobile app. And that app uses real-time inventory data, maybe some AI, to offer really personalized shopping experiences.
So connecting the internal capability to external value.
Exactly. That's the digital transformation part. Using the tech foundation to create new customer value, maybe new business models entirely.
And this is where it gets really interesting, especially for, you listening and thinking about your own context. This is the outward-facing strategic shift. It forces you to rethink products, services, maybe even the core business itself. It often involves things like agile teams, trying things out quickly, experimenting, focusing on delivering new value fast.
Yeah, the goal there is clearly market differentiation, building customer loyalty, finding totally new ways to grow the business, not just optimizing the current state.
So this raises a really important point the article emphasizes. You don't just pick one or the other, right? IT or digital?
No, not at all. They're presented as deeply interdependent. IT transformation builds that secure, flexible foundation.
The launch pad.
Yeah, the launch pad needed for digital innovation to actually scale up and be sustainable over time. But it goes the other way, too. The demands of digital transformation, like needing instant access to data or massive computing power for AI that actually pushes IT to keep evolving, keep modernizing.
So it's like a cycle, a critical loop.
Exactly. The article uses a healthcare provider example. They modernize their electronic health record system that's a clear IT transformation, makes things internally more efficient, maybe more compliant.
Right, classic IT project.
But having that modern integrated system, that's what then enables them to do other things. Offer telehealth services easily, use predictive analytics on patient data to flag people at risk, build truly personalized care plans.
All examples of digital transformation.
Right, which are focused on the patient experience, on better health outcomes. And the article makes the point that without that solid IT base from the first transformation, those cool patient-centric digital services, they'd be impossible, or they just fall over under the strain.
Right. And this really underlines why, for leaders, getting this distinction right is so crucial for strategy, for where you put your resources.
Absolutely. As the article points out, you measure success differently too. IT transformation success. You look at operational metrics, system uptime, cost savings, compliance checks, performance speeds.
And internal benchmarks.
Exactly. But digital transformation success, you have to measure that by business outcomes. Customer satisfaction scores. Are you generating net new revenue streams? How fast can you get new offerings out to the market?
It mentions a financial institution example too, doesn't it?
It does.
Yeah.
If a bank just pours money into upgrading its core banking systems,
Yeah.
pure IT transformation, yeah, they might lower their operating costs, improve reliability, which is good.
But
But if they stop there, the article argues, they completely miss the boat on the competitive advantages that come from digital transformation. Things like, innovative mobile banking features, personalized financial advice using AI, truly seamless digital-first customer onboarding.
the stuff that actually wins or keeps customers these days.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
The article strongly suggests the most successful organizations get this. They understand they need to run both transformations, maybe in parallel, maybe sequenced, but always connected.
Mm-hmm.
Constantly making sure that IT modernization isn't just happening in a silo, tech for tech's sake,
Right.
but that it's actively enabling and aligned with those bigger business-driven digital goals.
Because if you mix them up or only focus on the IT part,
You risk just upgrading your tech without actually changing anything meaningful for the customer or your position in the market.
which brings us to a really powerful question the article poses, and it's definitely one for you, the listener, to consider about your own context.
Yeah.
Is your organization investing in IT modernization simply to, well, keep the lights on and replace old systems? Or is that investment clearly designed to power a reimagined, future-focused business?
That's a tough question, but a really important one. If the investment feels kind of isolated from business innovation, from creating customer value,
Mm-hmm.
then, yeah, the article suggests you might be missing that bigger digital transformation picture.
Right.
True success, as it's framed here, seems to come when that solid IT foundation serves as a clear launch pad for those digital initiatives that actually redefine how you engage with customers and compete in the market.
Okay. So let's try and boil this down one last time. That core distinction from the article, drawing on that powerful concluding thought it had.
Yeah, the doing things better versus doing better things.
Exactly. The difference between IT transformation and digital transformation is fundamentally the difference between doing things better internally, operationally,
Efficiency, reliability.
and doing better things externally, strategically in the market for the customer.
And based on this source, getting good at both. It's really not presented as optional anymore. It's framed as pretty essential for any organization that seriously wants to innovate, compete, and, ultimately thrive.
So the real challenge isn't about choosing IT or digital.
No.
As the article frames it, it's really about how leaders can effectively orchestrate both of them together, making them part of one unified, forward-looking strategy.
Exactly. It's about making sure these two crucial efforts are synchronized, that they're working together to really grab the opportunities that the digital era presents.
And maybe that's the key thought to leave you with: how are both being orchestrated where you are? Something to mull over, perhaps explore further based on what we've unpacked today.